All right, we are live on Wedding Business Growth. Nick, how are you, man?
What's going on, David? How you doing?
Good to see you, Katy. Nice to see you.
Hi
And
guys.
this is actually a treat for us. Normally we don't, for our viewers at least. Normally we don't have our guest on camera already, but I figure, why not? Let's just start it off that way, and we'll just have all of us on here right away. And also for some of our viewers in the DJs Helping DJs group and the DJs Vault public group, we're going to have Dominic join. Ah, there he is right there. So let's get him in here. Dominic, the man. What's
Hey,
up, buddy?
Hey everybody.
how you doing?
Hey.
What's going
Dominic, I don't think you've met Katy yet, but this is Katy.
Hi,
Katy,
Dominic.
Dominic.
on? Hi Katy. Great to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you.
You too.
So Dominic, I appreciate you jumping in with us. I know that you're a big friend and fan of the Wedding Business Growth, and you were kind enough to let us jump in with the folks at DJs Helping DJs and also the DJ Vault group. So I wanted to just kind of give you a moment to kind of speak to those groups and kind of what this whole bringing together means, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So at the DJ's Vault, as you guys know, Joe Bunn and I, as his marketer, are all about giving you guys no nonsense, no fluff, actual value that you guys can use to grow your wedding DJ business and your mobile DJ business. And honestly, I know no better person than David Hanscom and his group of pirates that can help you do that. We want to bring as much content and also respect your time in the DJ's Vault public group and DJs Helping DJs. And this is our way of helping you guys stay connected to valuable resources that are going to help spark your way through the world of pain that the pandemic has brought upon our industry.
Man, I don't think I could have said that any better myself, man. That's amazing. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Also, Dominic, I want to give you a big shout out, and definitely those that are watching need to, if they're not a part of your group already, they need to be a part of your group. And more importantly, also, they need to listen to your podcast that just launched the first episode today, right?
That's right. That's right. Breakthedaminternet.com will take you right to the podcast page. If you need a swift kick in the butt, an injection of ass kicking is what I like to call it. The Break the Damn Internet podcast is for you.
Nice. Very good. Hey, Michael, thank you for that. Yeah, man, I was fortunate enough to be featured on DMS this week, so that was pretty cool. I hope you guys like that mix that I put together. It was kind of my ode to old school hip hop combined with some nice EDM beats, so it was a good thing. Good thing. I had fun with that. Dom, looks like you got some fans here already, man. You got people in here fanboying for you.
Please, fans. I am the fan of the people, honestly. The DJ's Vault would not ever be what it is. Book Solid would not be what it is if it weren't for you guys. You guys are the best community in the whole damn interwebs. Okay.
You are right about that, my friend. You are right about that. Well, I know that you had a limited schedule today, so we're not going to keep you on here forever, man. We just wanted to invite you on to join us. Kind of, bridge the gap between the Wedding Business Growth, and then also Michael said Dominic's hat has fans.
Yeah, it does though.
Wow,
Yeah.
I like it.
Way more interesting than my bald ass head.
He does sport some pretty dope ass hats, but guys, hey, we hope you get a lot out of today. Dominic, we want to again thank you on behalf of all of us. Thank you for having us merge with the groups, and hopefully this is something we can continue to keep doing together. We love what you guys are doing, and we just want to play a small part in that. So thank you for joining us tonight. I know you got to go, so we won't keep you any longer. But thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Kick butt,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Peace.
See you later, Dom. All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us. If this is the first time you're watching, you are watching Wedding Business Growth, and this is a Facebook Live that we do every week, usually on Friday. What's today? It's Wednesday. Usually on Wednesday nights. We keep it casual. We keep it fun. So come dressed as you are. If you got a drink, bring a drink with you. If you want to comment, if you want to ask a question, please do that. We love the comments. We love the questions. And we want to make sure that we're serving you guys the best we possibly can. Wedding Business Growth, if you're not familiar with it, Wedding Business Growth is exactly what its name is all about. We care about the business of your business. We want to help you with the business of your business. So if you're an independent business owner in the event industry, if you work somewhere within the event industry, this is the place for you. And we have some pretty cool, pretty well-versed guests that are going to continue to keep coming on and helping us just kind of continue to keep pumping you guys with content throughout the months and years to come, as long as we're blessed to have the opportunity to do this. So before we get started and dive into things, maybe let's kind of recap last weekend. You guys have events? Nick, what'd you have going on, Nick?
This past weekend was actually a pretty chill weekend for me. I didn't have anything going on. I was just doing some real estate stuff the week before. I had a couple of events. I've only done a couple of weddings, and I did them with another vendor. I kind of worked alongside them, but just trying to stay busy as I can. Just trying to make money, like in any way I can make money. Collecting unemployment too. I mean, I stopped collecting unemployment a couple of weeks ago. I think a lot of people are honestly like weird to talk about that. I know David and I kind of talked about it on the podcast, the Rookie and the Vet podcast. Shameless plug. About like collecting unemployment. Like right now, I really don't think there should be any shame for anyone in our industry, like collecting unemployment. Like this is what we do. Like the government has these resources for us to collect. Like they're there for a reason. I was actually talking about it to a friend of mine last night. Hey, Chris.
Sorry, I had to say that to Chris.
Yeah. But I feel like sometimes it's like shameful, like, oh, like you have to swallow your pride a little bit, but I don't think anyone should feel like ashamed in that regard. So if the resources are available to you, like definitely collect them. But
and Nick, I should have started with this because I know we have some folks on tonight, probably from maybe the DJs Vault group or the DJs Helping DJs group that aren't familiar with who you are. So just kind of give these guys a little bit of background of who you are and everything, just so that kind of makes sense.
Okay, yeah. What's up? I'm Nick. I run a company called NAS Visuals. It's a photography and videography company, but I also do some DJing for David, particularly like in the bar scene, on some of those bar contracts he has, like Top Golf and some other places. So it's just a little bit about me.
And also, just side note, he definitely does not work for an internet company. You can tell by the quality of the camera footage or the internet signal that he's getting.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
It's not the best, but in his defense, it is raining. It is raining pretty nastily over here. Nick doesn't live too far from me, so I know for a fact that it's raining pretty bad over here. Okay, great. So thank you, man. And my name is David Hanscom, and I've been around the event industry forever. I love the industry with all my heart. It's something that I've literally grown up in. I started, I started when I was in high school, and it's essentially all I've ever done. I've worked some part-time jobs here and there to make ends meet during lean and slow times, but my heart and everything I've ever done has always been, a part of this industry. Chris says, help comes in many forms. The bottom line is our industry is decimated. Unemployment is not something to be ashamed of. We are helpless. Very good, Chris. I couldn't agree with you more, man. And it's great to know that there are people in the industry that are embracing that and accepting that. The last thing you want to do is lose your business. So by all means, whatever you have to do to keep your business right now, do not be ashamed to take unemployment. Do not be ashamed to put your business on hold for a little while. And if you have to go get a job somewhere to make ends meet, do that, but don't give up on your job. So by the way, guys, if you have comments, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We're going to try to get to everybody. We're going to make sure we answer everybody's questions. Don't be shy. We love comments. We love questions. You can even make fun of us. If you're not a Boston fan, you can make fun of me. I don't mind. It's okay. I get it all the time. But you're welcome. Well, you guys pretty much put a hurting on us the last two games.
I saw that.
I give you that, good sir. I give you that. And right below us here is a really, really great friend of mine, Katy, and Katy is a wedding planner in the North Florida and also in the Tampa, Florida area, pretty much the whole daggum state of Florida. Like, I don't think there's much of anywhere that she doesn't have a footprint on in Florida and even South Georgia. And me and Katy have known each other. Katy, I can't even tell you how long it's been. Probably at least 10 years, hasn't it?
I think
feels
13.
Like it's been. Wow.
I started at the Embassy Suites 13 years ago.
That's so amazing. So amazing. So Katy is involved in tons and tons. She has a staff and just an impeccable staff of folks that work for her and involved in a lot of weddings. And she's very in tune with, with the industry. She's very in tune with the DJ side of the industry, which I thought was really great that we were able to kind of jump in the DJ's Vault, public group, and of course the DJs helping DJs, because we couldn't have had a better guest to kind of be on with us to talk today a little bit about some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So before we jump into that, how was your weekend for events, Katy?
It was good. We had 3 events. I was supposed to have 4, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They were all different sizes. Thursdays, unfortunately, rescheduled. Fridays was about 160 people. It was a beautiful wedding. David was the DJ. And then we had an event on Saturday, which was about 60 people, and Sunday was about 80. So it was a really busy weekend. For me, I have a staff. I was the only one that had weddings this weekend, where we can typically do up to 11 weddings in a day because of the amount of staff that I have. This upcoming weekend, though, most of my staff is all out on Saturday. So it's going to feel really good for everybody to be out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of nice to see. I think there's like this divide of couples and clients now. Half of them are like, screw it, we don't care if there's only 50 people, we're still going to have this damn thing. And the other half are like, screw it, we can't just whittle it down to 50 people, so we're going to wait.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much the divide we're seeing. And then of course there's probably going to be people that wherever they fall on the level of concerned about where they are, hotspots with COVID cases and things like that. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I'm sure it's not as simple as I just defined it, but it feels that way sometimes, for sure. It definitely does.
It's a hard decision when someone does, change their plans completely. And there's so many decisions that the couple has, either the venue, regulations, their family, wearing a mask. I changed my whole entire wedding plans because on Friday, they told me I would have had to wear a mask 100% of the time. And while I respect the masks and the cause that they have, I could not imagine getting married wearing a mask.
Yeah. So for those of you who are not aware, Katy actually has her own wedding coming up pretty soon, and that's what she was referring to. Was supposed to be taking place in Ohio, correct?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in Ohio.
Yeah, so there was just some circumstances that really kind of made that decision a difficult decision, but it's one that a lot of people that we're all in contact with right now are having to make, and so and that's probably a unique perspective to be on that side of it, to be both a planner who is dealing with client or couples that are having to make these decisions, but then also in the middle of that, literally having to make those decisions yourself at the same time.
Yep, it's different, I tell you.
Well, I know for you, same thing I say for you that I say for everybody. I know you're going to make the right decisions, and I know that at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you and Chris are going to get married, and that's the most important part of all of it. So
you're right.
We're excited for you guys. We're excited for that, and I think as long as we can all kind of have that perspective, it kind of helps make things maybe just a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm getting all choked up over here because I love you guys so much. Once again, guys, if you're just watching us, if you're just jumping on, you're tuned into. We haven't turned down yet, but who knows? It could happen tonight. You never know. You're tuned into Wedding Business Growth, and we appreciate you guys joining us. We do have a Facebook group that if you're not a part of the Facebook group, we invite you to please join that group. The group is all about love. It's all about support. It's all about helping your business, helping you grow as a single op, as a multi-op, as somebody who hasn't even started yet. You don't even know where to start. You don't know how to start. We want to help you with those business choices, those business decisions, and help kind of maybe help you miss some of the hurdles and some of the pitfalls that we as business owners have had to go through. And then also the flip side of that, my good buddy Chris, who's in here, and hopefully he's still on here with us. He made a comment a few minutes ago. Chris is somebody that I've had so much respect for many years. Somebody like him who could be a part of the group and help mentor as well. We're really about helping from a mentorship standpoint. So if you haven't looked into being a part of Wedding Business Growth, it's just one more tool for your toolbox, and we invite you to join us. Those of you that are watching from the DJs Vault group, or if you're watching from the DJs Helping DJs group, I myself have been a DJ forever, so that's my world. Over here, Nick is a DJ / videographer, so he definitely can help you out in that world. And as I mentioned earlier, Katy is a wedding planner, but just an all-around well-versed person in the industry of weddings and events. So we have a all-star team of people to help you guys out. Okay, so I think I built us up enough. All right, let's dive into some topics. So our first topic tonight, by the way, again, I want to keep mentioning this. If you're watching, if you have a comment, if you have a question, if you want to, make fun of one of us, feel free to do it. Like, just have fun. Like, this is just loose, fun, simple. We're just all getting together, palling around, talking, and since we're socially distanced from each other, we don't even have to wear masks while we're doing it, so that's great. So the first topic today that we're going to talk about, and probably the chunk of our conversation tonight, is going to be about trends that are going on right now, and Katy has some really good insights about some trends that are going on right now, that those of you that are DJs watching, really listen up, because these are some things that, again, I love using the term tools for your toolbox. Katy's going to give you some ideas today that could be really good tools to put in your toolbox that, and sometimes it's the kind of tools where, you know how you have some tools that you never ever use, but my God, when you need that tool, you're so glad that you have it, and you don't have to go stand in line at Lowe's or Home Depot for 40 minutes while they let one person, two people, wait, one person, two people. Like, you don't have to go through all of that. Like Katy's already going to give you that tool to put in your toolbox. All right, so that's going to be a huge help. Also, we have an article coming out that Nick wrote. Nick, that'll be dropping either later tonight, or is it later tonight or maybe tomorrow, depending on what we get from today, because we might add some stuff from tonight to that article. So
definitely so. Yeah,
be on the lookout for that too. So anyways, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to turn things over to Katy. And Katy, I just dive right into this for us, please.
Okay, great. I think that you really need to research trends that are going on as vendors. As a coordinator, we kind of research trends for our clients all the time. But what I like to do is take the trends and see how we can add it to our kind of vaults of things that we can give our clients. So you take a trend and then you add it to your packages to see how you can grow that trend and help your clients get it easier. I, like David said, have coastal coordinating in Savannah, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and Tampa, and Orlando. I will say the biggest thing, and David said that they have been getting some inquiries about this in the Jacksonville market, is fusion, where you take your DJ services with live music. A lot of the DJs are working with string quartet groups or musical groups, and getting a live guitarist on board with them or a saxophonist. So that's a huge thing in the Tampa market, is this fusion music where you have a live singer and guitarist with a DJ. So that's a trend that I really highly suggest, as a coordinator, us researching that more and working with DJs to kind of create a group of people that can work together to do that, or the DJs adding that in as well to your services. It's really cool because sometimes with a first dance, you want it to be sung live. So if you can find a really, really great live guitarist, the DJ can play most of the other music, do the emceeing, and then the live guitarist plays the music. So I think that is a huge trend that everybody should be watching out for and kind of adding that in to your DJ services or coordinating as well. So that's one of them.
Just quickly, if I could just interject for 2 seconds here. I know we probably definitely have some DJs watching today. So if any of you guys have already participated in Fusion and kind of the concept that Katy is talking about, definitely drop a comment about it. We'd love to hear your experience about it. Maybe even bring you on to talk about it a little bit with us. But I love it. I told, when Katy talked to me about it, I was like, I have talked about it to as many people as I can. I haven't had the luxury or the opportunity to do it yet, but I hope to do it really soon, because I think it's a humongous, cool, very fun concept. I really love it. Sorry, that's all I had.
Oh, no, I think that's great. I was glad to hear that people in the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area want it, because we've done it so many times in Tampa, and it's just so awesome at a wedding. So that was a trend that was very, very popular. Another trend that's really popular is neon signs. Aesthetically, people like the look of it. So if the DJ service or the coordinator or any type of company can find a sign that's a neon, that would work for most weddings. they could incorporate that as a rental. They could also do custom signs. There's a company in Jacksonville that we found that will make custom signs. So you could partner with them where you are the lead person getting that sign made for them and using that. It's really great as photo booth backdrops, behind the sweetheart table, in front of the sweetheart table. So neon signs are kind of that new thing that people are really looking for. David, have you seen that a lot in your photo booths?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a handful of people wanting to do those and wanting to to have those signs. So definitely, we're getting some comments coming here now. We have sorry, I can't unfortunately see the name, but we have a comment coming in from Atlanta. DJ, drummer, and sax has been a thing here in Atlanta for about 2 years. It was on fire about a year ago. My last DJ drummer gig was last December. I really think it's something that's going to take back off again too. I think just with COVID and a lot of we've all just been really, pardon my term, but we just all been punching the dick this whole since the beginning of the year. I don't even know any other way to say it. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. Michael says I have a few times. I'm in Arizona. Actually, I have a wedding in 2 weeks where a former contestant from America's Got Talent is performing their first dance song. So that's kind of cool.
That's
That's
awesome.
kind of cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Nick says laying single instruments like a violin goes really well. Take a very talented musician to do so well. Yeah. Absolutely, Nick. I totally agree with you there. And then let's see. Yes, neon signs. Photo booth is big on this from Atlanta. Yeah, man, Atlanta is such a progressive market. I got to tell you, I used to live in Atlanta, and I loved it.
Really?
I loved living there, but it was so progressive, and I'm just kind of this. I'm not like a country boy. I'm definitely more of a city boy, but I'm like a small city boy. Like I'm not into all that craziness. So, but I love Atlanta. And I love the city. I love the people from Atlanta. So absolutely.
I agree. I think Atlanta is very progressive, as well as Tampa. Tampa is very, very different than St. Augustine and Jacksonville.
Okay, so this is Lou from Atlanta. So Lou, thank you for your input, bud. I appreciate you jumping in on that and sharing that with us. And then Michael says many DJs are also magician. Are you guys magicians or musicians? Trust me, sometimes we have to be magicians. I'm telling you that right now, right? Many DJs are also musicians, so this should be pretty natural. Absolutely, I agree with you, Michael, totally. And then our good friend Heather, look at here, Heather Lee jumping in. Thank you from Colorado. Heather Lee used to live here in our market, and I think she's going to be coming. I don't know.
I hope so.
She might at least come visit us soon. I don't know. Hopefully. But thank you for checking in with us, Heather. I appreciate you checking in. Once again, guys, if you have comments, if you have questions, drop them below. We're going to try to get to everybody's questions and comments. We want to make sure this is really interactive, and you guys are a part of this just as much as we are. All right, so let's keep jumping into some more of these trends, Katie.
Okay, great. I think with the way things are changing now and people are having smaller, more intimate events, I think that we are kind of doing a weekend event versus a one-day event. So that is something that DJs can add on as their services to do a small welcome party at a restaurant or a bar if bars are open. We are doing a lot of watch parties the day after. So this is a really fun thing that's coming up this fall. So if someone's getting married on a Friday, they do a watch party for college football on a Saturday. And the DJs are adding on their services to kind of play music in between commercials and things like that. They can do interactive games like cornhole or yard games. So it's something to add to your inventory. It's kind of a fun thing where it's more interactive of a weekend.
Well, in a couple weeks ago, we had Ernie and Aaron from Washington State that were on with us, and they were talking about. Heather Lee says yes, she's going to come visit us soon. I can't wait. That's awesome. They were on talking with us about their big screen movie projection kind of thing that just kind of has blown up for them during this time frame. And it was really just a matter of them kind of looking in their warehouse and looking at equipment that they had sitting around, and they were kind of like, what can we do with this? And so I love that idea for you're talking about the watch party. I mean, for guys that have big screens and projectors and things like that, why not offer something like that where, they could watch it on I'm not going to disrespect anybody's 60-inch or, 50-inch TV, but, you bring in 110-inch, 120-inch. I'm sure Chris probably has some humongous screens, that you could bring in and then really take this game day to another level. So sometimes you really just want to have to kind of think outside the box, and maybe even partnering with or subcontracting some of this stuff. Maybe you don't have a projector and screen, but there could be a rental company in town that has one that you could, do a little legwork, find out what the rental on that is, add that to your package. You bring out your audio and everything, and then you bring that out as well. And then you have a nice package to offer them, something that maybe your competitors don't have to offer.
Great idea. I love that.
Just one thing real quick. David talked about using kind of what you have, like as videographers too. Using what you have could be like live streaming a wedding. Like I've seen that like as a super kind of like trend right now. Not to steal Katie's thunder.
No, that's great.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of trend people like live streaming. If as a videographer, like you have all the infrastructure to do it, and it can be really awesome because there's a lot of people right now, older people or people maybe that are just afraid they can't get there, that they don't have to miss out on the day or the ceremony at least because of the live streaming. So another thing, just a back pocket kind of thing for those people in the photo video world.
That's a great
look at here, my guy Nick Gavina coming in with a 32-inch inflatable screen with a 10K projector. That's what I'm talking
epic.
about.
That's
awesome.
What
I'm talking about, man. I might have to. Nick, where are you? Did you say you're in Arizona? Wherever you're located at, man, I might have to have you come down to Florida and do something with that thing, man. That's crazy. That's off the chain right there. That's very good. All right, Katy, do you have some more ideas for us?
Yeah, I want to kind of just talk a little bit more about the game day thing. As coordinators, you can add that onto your package for someone that is really worried about canceling or postponing their wedding. Kind of take your package and make it an all weekend package instead, and show them how they can really do a lot of fun things that whole entire weekend instead of them just postponing or canceling. Another great place to do these at are breweries. Breweries don't have food, they have their own alcohol, and they allow games and DJs and actually food trucks to come in too. So it's another way to get your other vendors in the community involved as well. So food trucks or small catering vendors, this is a great kind of niche for you as well.
Excellent. And I know this is Tina from here in Nocatee said, so you know her too, Katy. So she said she's got a love, but thank you, Tina. I hope you're still on. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you. Nick said he's in California. Hey man, me and the other Nick are actually coming to California maybe in August if they allow us to come there. So we might have to catch up with you, man. So that's cool. And I think too, I think you bring up a good point. And one of the things that maybe and I'll let you address this too, Katy, is maybe one of the thinking about how you can. I know that in any smart business guru person is probably going to tell you, work smarter, not harder, and this kind of thing. But anybody who really cares about you is going to tell you, do what you got to do to get through what you got to get through. And so that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, if you have to take something that and I don't want to get into a big conversation about what people charge and pricing and all that stuff, but just for conversational purposes, let's say that you would normally charge $2,500 to do a one-day event for somebody. Well, in this day and age, if you could still make $2,500, but you might have to do a 2-day event or a 3-day event, you're still going to make $2,500. And I think it's important to really think about that.
I agree 100%. Also, if you think about it this way, I agree with you in everything you just said, but you have to also think about the client and what they're going through. So the more you do for them and work those days, those extra days at the same price, they're going to refer you to everyone. And then having 3 events, you are going to be connected to more vendors that way. The vendors are going to know that you cared about the client more than what you're making. So it's going to get out there, and we just have to think about these hard times and what we're doing, and giving a great service to everybody that's in need right now. It's just a sad time.
Yeah, it really is. And Nick, and you and I talked about on the Rookie in the Vet podcast, we talked about in a recent episode about, sometimes even doing something pro bono can really, elevate
Goes
you.
a long way.
I mean, I've pretty much, well, technically you and I both pretty much exploded in a new market by doing one event pro bono. Yeah. You did the video, I did the emceeing and the game shows and all that stuff. And it was a one-day event. They even put us up in a hotel in the whole 9 yards. We didn't get paid a dime to do it. But ever since then, and this was 2 years ago, and obviously up until up until all this COVID stuff is happening, that same person that we did that for has hired us for every single event they've ever done since then.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know, so
Pro bono
sometimes you just
it
go
definitely
ahead.
goes a
Sorry.
long way. I was just gonna say pro bono just goes a long way. I mean, honestly, it's how we met. Like that was kind of like the first thing. So I mean, if you can prove your worth to someone and you can show, hey, look at my product, like look at what I can do, I think it goes a really long way for sure.
Yeah. And some of you guys that maybe are watching that have been around for a while and you have an established business, and this might not make as much sense, but if you're trying to break into a market, if you're just trying to break into the industry, again, right now, while we're not many of us are doing much of anything, if nothing else, it helps you sharpen your skills. It helps you stay on top of your game. It helps you be that much more prepared for when we do go back to doing our regular schedule and our regularly scheduled programs, if you will. It just helps you be that much more prepared for those things. And I know, like for me, I did it. Katy had mentioned we worked an event together this past weekend on Friday night. And I'm telling you guys, I hadn't worked prior to that in a long time. And at the end of the night, man, my body was dead. And I was like, man, I used to be able to go 3-4 nights in a row, 5 nights in a row, like it was nothing. And my body was like, dude, you need to get to bed, bro. So, I mean, just like little things like that we don't even think about. Anytime you can do anything to help continue to be on top of mind of people, do those things. I'm not telling everybody to do everything for free. I'm just saying sometimes it might make sense.
Yeah, one thing I would also say, David, something that I thought was really cool that you were doing with some photographers was like just collaborating with people. Like now's an amazing time to like almost like network and collaborate. Like, hey, like do you want to like just shoot a video? Like, hey, let's do a promo video. Like, we got nothing else to do. Like, I think what you're doing is awesome. Like, let's do something. Like, so that type of collaboration right now. I mean, you got the time to do it. It's an awesome opportunity to connect with other people for sure.
No, I couldn't agree more. Agree more, guys. Once again, if you're just joining us, if you're just jumping on with us, you're tuned in to Wedding Business Growth. We appreciate having you guys on with us tonight. Feel free to drop your comments or questions in the chat there, whichever. If you're watching for the DJs Vault group, if you're watching from DJs Helping DJs, or if you're watching for Wedding Business Growth, any one of those 3 locations, drop in questions, drop in comments. We love to hear from you guys. We want this to be very interactive. If you haven't seen one of our lives before, we just keep it loose. You never know what might come out of my mouth, so hopefully you won't be very offended because you never know what I might say. But I try to keep it as PC as I possibly can. So, okay, so Lou from Atlanta, I had my first wedding back the first weekend in June. The next day, I was zapped like I never did this. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, man. Lou, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so, just doing these little odds and ends things to make a couple extra bucks and just keep your, I always think of Allen Iverson, practice. I'm talking about practice, but still, it still helps you kind of keep in that mold and everything. So, very good point there, Lou. Katy, you have more for us, or are we still got more? All right, cool. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
So I think one of the other things that you were talking about is doing some things as a vendor during this time when you're a little bit slower. One of the biggest trends that I still have a huge problem, I just have a hard time kind of getting into it, is social media. You really have to be on top of your social media, really grow your followers. So what I have been doing, as well as my staff, we've been taking social media courses online. There's a lot of free ones out there to kind of tell us what to do to build our followers, to see what people are liking, talking about hashtags, and it has really helped. We actually started partnering with Wedding Chicks, and it has increased our followers by a ton. So really look into some of those groups that are running really, really, really great specials right now that I normally couldn't afford. But because of this, the specials that they're running, I can't not do them. And it's really increasing our social media presence.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the replay of this, do you mind? Could we ask to maybe get a couple of those free resources from you that we can include in the show notes?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
That'd be great.
Also, one of the things I want to mention too, Brittany on my staff has been with me for almost 6 years now, 5-6 years. She's my marketing manager and she focuses mostly on marketing. She is literally the best and she will answer anyone's questions. And we are always willing to help too, because my social media presence has changed since she's taken it over. So Brittany on my staff is always willing to answer questions. She finds these social media courses for free that we take. I've done a ton of them, but I can share them with you guys for sure.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And yeah, Heather Lee mentioned keep showing up for everybody. And I'm thinking that Heather Lee is referring to the other vendors, the other, your other friends and people that you work with in the industry on a regular basis. And, it's easy for us to get tunnel vision and just think about what we're going through and what, how we're suffering, how our business is suffering, how our families are suffering, how all of our clients are beating us up and wanting to reschedule and cancel and refund and all of this stuff. And I mean, for everybody who's watching this right now, they're probably going through that too. For everybody that's going to watch a replay of this, they're going through that too. So, put your arm around somebody that's in the industry and just say, hey, I feel you. I understand what you're going through. And it's really going to go a long ways because it's much different than a family member who maybe they have a family member who has a job where they're an essential person or they're still working, they're still making an income. Their lives haven't been affected from a financial standpoint that much. And so there's only so much level of I understand that will really transcend between those two people. So talking to somebody who's in the trenches that understands what you're going through, and they don't have to be doing the same thing you do. You don't have to talk to another DJ. Just talk to somebody else that's in the event industry who understands what you're going through. And Nick, I think you had a point earlier. I didn't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, I was just going to say in terms of the courses, like even there's great courses just to hone your skills for like what we're doing too. Like, I mean, there's DJ courses out there. I've seen music mixing courses, tons of like video editing courses that I've been kind of taking. So yeah, there's just tons of great resources right now that during this time, like, I don't think any of us would have had that, like the time to work on that stuff, but now's the perfect time to just kind of hone your skills and like maybe learn something new for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention and just remind everybody that's watching or listening to either the live or the replay of this that a lot of our conversation tonight is very DJ heavy. It definitely is, but this can be applied to everybody in the industry. It's not.
Definitely.
It's not. We're not meaning to make this so DJ heavy, but we are broadcasting to 2 DJ groups tonight, so we wanted to really cater to those guys and really give them some meat and potatoes and some stuff that they could take home with them. Normally, our conversations are about the whole wedding industry and everybody in the wedding industry, and there's going to be times where some things are going to be very specialized. So we don't want anybody watching that's not a DJ to feel left out or feel like that we're not thinking about you guys, because we definitely are. We definitely want to help you guys just as much as our DJ friends. So I just wanted to throw that in there. More trends, you got them for us, Katie? I'm going to keep asking you until you run out.
Yeah.
Right,
I have one more for you guys. It is creating a specialty package for people that are planning their wedding but that have postponed. So we're doing like specialty nights where it's like wine nights, like a girls' night. So we're creating that. We're a group of us, my clients, the other coordinators, we get together. We talk about things together through Zoom. It's kind of like a therapy session, if you will have it, because it is such a hard time for the brides and the grooms and all of us. So kind of create that network in that group, invite a DJ in, invite a caterer in, so that everybody can kind of see what's happening and we make it a really positive experience. So I think this is such a hard time, but everybody is really coming together as a team and making it better. And the clients really see that.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just one thing that I would add to that as well, like just in terms of trends, like Katie, do you have anything else to add to that? Or
no, go ahead, Nick.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the only thing I was going to say was like, don't be afraid to follow trends either. Like, that's kind of like was the premise of the article that I wrote, was like trends, like the word trend like has like kind of like a negative connotation. Like everyone thinks about like, oh, like maybe the fashion industry, or like, oh, like what's the trend in the latest trends. Like, I feel like it has a negative connotation, but don't be afraid to follow them, because like Katie mentioned, like you can really capitalize on trends. Like, and like, there's a reason that they're trends is because they're popular and people do like them. Like one of the things that I notice a lot are like style trends, like in how we do videos, right? Like there's like the way they look and the colors and all that stuff. Like there are definitely trends, but it's not, you don't be afraid to follow them. You have to just physically identify with it. If it's something that you can get behind, it's like, man, I really like that, then you'll be able to authentically put it out there and market it and sell it. And it's something that you enjoy versus like, oh, I kind of like this trend, but it's just, I'm just going to do it because it's going to make me money. Like that's definitely the wrong reason to like follow a trend. So I would just say, like, my advice to this whole thing would be like, don't be afraid to kind of explore into that realm.
Good
I
point.
think that makes a lot of sense. And for those of you that are watching, I promise you, Nick is an actual human being. He's just having a lot of issues with the internet tonight. So unfortunately, his camera's freezing up a lot. But I promise you, he is a real person. Hey, you got a smile on your face now, at least, so that's good. I like that. You're frozen. Yeah. You're frozen in a smile, so that works.
Ah, geez.
All right, so before we move on to a couple more topics, I just want to put this out there, and then Katy, I'm gonna give you a little heads up here. I want to, in just a moment here, if you can just kind of bullet point those different ideas, sure. Just kind of a recap real quick. Before you do that, guys, if you have any questions about trends, if you have any comments about trends, if you want to ask Katy or any one of us anything about trends that she's seeing going on or that she's talked about tonight, now is the time. Please drop those in the comments. I'm going to have her kind of recap everything, and then we're going to move on. So I just want to give everybody a fair chance while she is recapping those things. If you have any questions on this topic before we move on, please drop those in. So Katy, I'm going to turn it back over to you. And again, if you could just kind of give a little bit of a recap, a little bit of a, hey, write these down, and then go home or, after you watch this and really think about how can I apply these to what I'm doing? So I'm going to let Katy go ahead and do that now.
All right, guys. So the number one thing was kind of create a DJ service with a fusion type of music where you have live music. As a coordinator, you want to tell your clients about this because I don't think a lot of people know about it. DJs connect with musicians because musicians are having a really hard time working right now. So it's a way to connect as a group and create a new service. In some areas, it's really on point already, but it is something good to do. Having neon signs as an upgrade add-on for photo booths or even through the DJ service is a huge plus for clients because it's fun and trendy, and it's just a fun, cool thing to take pictures in front of a neon. And then also adapting to longer events instead of just a one-day event if someone wants to cancel because they have a lot of fall-offs and guest count. Create a full weekend for them where you do a welcome party. You could do a ghost tour if you're in St. Augustine, a bar crawl, different things like that, a wedding, and then an after party the next day, especially with football season coming up. Kind of pair something with a watch party. Contact local breweries, food trucks, and just make it a really fun event. So it's a great way to connect with all the vendors as well. Another way is to have some groups on the side where you get a couple vendors involved in your clients and create Zoom fun wine nights or just a fun talking group to work together. And really, really, really take this time to follow the trends on social media, take some free courses that are out there, and really spruce up your social media. Because when we are busy, we cannot work on those types of things. This is the time to really do that now.
I love every one of those things. Heatherly says she's going to pump some iron at the gym. Okay.
Do that for me too, please, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, off camera we were talking about how Orange Theory has been kicking my butt, and if you've been watching us for a while, that's always a topic of conversation for me. Orange Theory is kicking my butt, but I'm enjoying it. Heatherly, thank you for joining us. One point about what you said on all of these things, Katy, that I really was thinking about while you were going through these things, is that right now, where things are a little uneasy and things are not normal, and there's maybe a thought process that people are a little bit more understanding of, you're going through the same thing they're going through. So this could be a good time to test some of these things out. Like, you don't have to be perfect at them yet, because you're not necessarily, going to be going game busters. You might go game busters like Ernie and Aaron did. You never know. But if you don't, the point I'm making is that this is a great time to really test the waters with these things and really kind of see which one of them makes sense for you and makes sense with your business plan, and how you can implement them into that business plan. And even if you prepare yourself for 2021 and beyond, and then have it completely licked and have it completely a part of your marketing plan, your advertising plan, everything, And then the things that don't really resonate, don't really make sense, then you don't have to worry about those things, you know. But why not do it? I'm going to keep harping to everybody. Why not keep trying new things and trying different things right now while you have time to do it, and you have an audience that understands that we're all going through times that we've never gone through. So, you know, in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good
I
point.
agree.
Very good.
Well, good, guys. All right, so I haven't seen any questions come in, so that's okay. If you guys think of any questions throughout, feel free to do that. You're still welcome to drop comments or questions in about trends or any other questions that you might have for Katy, you know, in that realm, in that department, and we'll get those answered for you. We've got about 16 minutes left here. I want to respect everybody's time. We try to keep things to an hour here, so we're going to try to respect everybody's time. So the other thing that we want to talk about, and this is the whole premise of, and if you were on earlier, you kind of heard me allude to this. This is the whole premise behind Wedding Business Growth, which is we want to create an ecosystem of people that are either new to the business, new in their business, or maybe you're a single op trying to become a multi-op. Maybe you're part-time in this industry and you're trying to go full-time in this industry. Maybe you fall into any one of those categories. Maybe you've never had a paying client yet and you just want to have help on how the hell do I get my first paying client. Wherever you fall in that category, we want to create an ecosystem of those people, and then on the other side, people who can help with that, people who have a heart for the industry, people who understand that by helping you, they strengthen the entire industry. It doesn't hurt them to help you. And that's what we're building, and that's what we're going to continue to keep building. And we hope that you'll continue to keep coming back for us to help you in that regard. And that's an area, some people call it mentorship, some people call it coaching. Whatever word makes you feel good about it, roll with it, because it will help you. Believe me, some of the people that have helped me throughout my career, one of them, my dear friend, Ray Martinez, which I have to mention, because unfortunately he's in the hospital right now, still dealing with COVID. And I know he's going to make a recovery, and I know he's going to be okay. And I want him to know that we love him and we care about him and we're praying for him. And those of you guys that are in the DJ industry, if you don't know who he is, look him up, because he's one of the guys that really paved the way for a lot of us to be able to do what we do. But if he wasn't a part of my life, and he wasn't a friend of mine, and you can obviously probably see I'm getting emotional about it, because if he wasn't instrumental in my life, I wouldn't be able to do this for you right now. And so the cycle just continues that way, and it should continue that way. And so that's something that another project that Katy is working on that I wanted to kind of have you talk about a little bit, Katy. More so, I think, in obviously in the wedding planner industry, but it's something that transfers again to all of our industry. I'm a big believer that while each one of us provides a different deliverable, Nick provides a video service, I provide a DJ service, you provide a wedding planning service. Even though that happens, we all have the same client. The deliverable is different, but the client is the same. And a lot of the business practices can very much overlap with each other. So I just want you to share a little bit about the work that you guys are doing, and kind of, just talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are doing a lot of coaching and mentoring of new coordinators in any industry throughout the United States, the world. So we can help them kind of with a business plan, a marketing plan, a sales pitch, because I think that is something that a lot of people don't know how to do, is when you're doing a call with a client and kind of creating that sales and kind of creating that relationship with the client, because sales is not just about selling your service, it's about creating a relationship. So we're kind of doing some mentorship programs during this slower time to help those other companies that are brand new or want to go into the industry with that. Also, we've had other vendors reach out to us, a videographer in the past, a photographer in the past, that said, hey, with your full planning clients, you're on the call with us all the time. You hear us giving our pitch, you hear us talking to the client, and you know who else they're talking to that are our competitors. What can I do better on these sales calls and sales pitches to help as well? So it's across the board where other vendors are reaching out to us for this mentoring and coaching as well, because we are on the initial call with 99% of all the vendors with a full planning client. So we can tell you guys what you're not saying correctly or how you're not connecting with that client well enough, and would love to help you kind of create a better skill to reach out and stay connected and get that client and create that relationship. I worked for Hilton, and I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me is I learned how to create a relationship before I create a sale.
That's awesome. One thing that I could just if I could jump in real quick, I would
course.
say that the relationships are everything. I mean, like this is such a people service that if you really don't know how to cultivate relationships, and you don't know how to even almost sell yourself too, those are really valuable skills. I mean, as pretty much a brand new business owner, like those are the two things that I've struggled with the most. So extremely valuable. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that you brought up about helping other businesses that like you said, you hear their conversations, you hear the things that they're saying, and it's kind of funny sometimes you say it would be great to be a fly on the wall and see that cringe whenever you hear. I'm sure you've probably in earlier years, hopefully not now, but definitely in earlier years, probably heard me say a few things that you're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't say that. But
we all do. It's
yeah.
not, even as a veteran, I do it sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think it's a great thing. I really wished it was something that was more respected and important in the wedding and event industry as a whole. I think that if you work for a hotel or you kind of go down we'll call it the corporate side of things, you really have no choice to. You whatever position you come into, you've got a boss. They have a boss. They have a boss, et cetera, and there's a real structured thing in place, and there's a career path that you can actually take and learn new skills and things like that from those individuals. Whereas in this side of it, where we're pretty much all of us are independently owned businesses, and we really start with our passion. Like we have this passion of what we do. Nick is passionate about making videos, right? And so that's where his passion is. But and I'm not picking on Nick. I'm just using this as an example.
Sure.
But maybe Nick hasn't necessarily taken business classes. Maybe Nick hasn't necessarily totally developed the same level of understanding of how to run a business as he has how to produce a video. And a lot of times people in our industry, we're almost all of us are type A personalities. We think we know it all and you can't tell us anything and all of that stuff. And I'll tell you, my goal in life, especially at the age I am now, is to never, ever be that way. I still want to learn. I still want people to teach me. Even though I've been doing this for 20 plus years, I still want people to teach me because I believe I don't know everything yet. But a lot of people in our industry, that's their downfall. That's why they're not around a year later. That's not why they're not around 2 years later, because they don't take the time to understand the business side of things, which is the longevity side of things. There are a lot of great, technically skilled people that DJ, do video, and plan weddings that never work. And
so
they don't.
True.
And they don't because they haven't taken the time to fully develop themselves on a professional level when it comes to the business side of things. And so things like this are perfect for those opportunities to help you be able to do that.
It's so important. Yeah, just one thing I could throw in. I think it's so awesome to have someone kind of like Kate, like you said, Kate, that you're offering is someone to tell you, hey, what can I be doing better? Because if you think about an interview, or like when you do when you're practicing interviews, like they'll record you while you're giving the interview so you can go back and watch yourself, because it's so difficult to view yourself objectively while you're doing something. So I think having another perspective from someone who's as veteran as you both are, to kind of say, hey, like this is what you could be doing better, or here's an objective perspective of you. I think that's amazing, because honestly, like I've recorded myself, and even watching these back sometimes, or listening to like the podcast that we do, like you don't recognize it while it's happening in real time, but when you go back and you can listen to it again, or you have someone else to tell you, hey, check this out. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. So just one thing I wanted to add.
Yeah, I think that anybody in the industry as well, DJs, photographers, videographers, caterers, reach out to the coordinators that you work with all the time. we know what the clients want, and they've already talked to us about what they want from their service, and we know what they're going to ask you. So if you're using our services to help coach and mentor you, we're going to tell you this is what 99% of our clients want to know about DJ services. So if you can really hit on these key facts more, it's going to help you win that client. So use the people that are talking to the clients first, and they're their advocate to help you guys as well.
Definitely.
I think that's probably the most invaluable piece of advice that has been given right there. And I hope people don't miss that. I hope people don't miss that. If I were you guys and you're watching right now and you're trying to figure out how to, hey, put your ego aside for a second. If you're not booking, 80 to 90% of the business that you have the opportunity to book, you may never get to 90. But if that conversation with Katy in your neck of the woods and in your city, if that conversation can help you get to 85%, that 5% can make a huge difference. And that might be all it is. It might be the only thing that's that's stopping you from getting from that 80 to 85% is just that little tweak, just that little, you were saying this, and quite frankly, they don't give a shit about that. They really care more about this. And so really hit on that a little bit more and make sure that they know that you care about that too. Because think about it, once you've been doing this for a while, it's kind of like the old adage is like riding a bike. You know what I mean? Like after a while, you just do it. You just coast along, and you know what you're doing, and you forget that you're dealing with a client who has no clue what they're doing. And sometimes even people that even people that are getting remarried, they still forgot what the hell they did the first time, and so they still don't have a clue what they're doing, right? Or they want to do it totally differently this time, and they don't know how to do that. So it's important to not assume that the client knows that if you're a DJ, you can't just assume that the client knows you're going to MC the event. You can't just assume that the client knows that you're going to provide adequate sound for the room that they're going to be in. You can't just assume that the client knows that you have wireless uplighting that can be any color that you want it to be, and it can go to the beat of the music, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can't assume that they know those things. It seems like that it's common sense, but it's common sense to all of us because it's what we do. Well, up until March, it's what we do every weekend of our lives, right? So, but it's so important. So I think that was the most valuable nugget right there, man. That was worth the price of sticking around for this hour with us right there.
Yeah, and honestly too, like a lot of times when I'm on these calls with vendors, David, you'll know this. I always say, like, I'm going to be on the call, I'm going to be taking notes for the clients, and I kind of mute it so that you guys can create a relationship. And then I come in at the end and I ask questions. And sometimes I think the vendor probably thinks I'm crazy for asking these questions because I know the answer, but I know that my client wants to know that answer. So that's why I emphasize those things.
Yeah, and you know that the client hasn't heard that answer, or hasn't heard that question answered yet.
Exactly.
Man, that's so valuable. That's so valuable. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're almost out of time. Looks like we still got some folks on with us, so thank you guys for sticking around with us. If you do have any questions or comments, now's the time to get them in. We're gonna take just about another minute or so to see if we have any come in. But man, this is good night. This is a good night, man. I really appreciate you being on with us, Katy.
Yes.
You've brought a lot of value to this. Okay, so we do have one here from Lou. Lou from Atlanta. All my brides, even after they book, ask if my DJs will MC, even when we tell them that when we book. Many times couples forget what they booked. Such a valid point,
True.
Lou.
Such
a valid point. I'm telling you guys, we are in the education business. Whether you like it or not, we are in the education business. We are dealing with a client who doesn't know, and like Lou just said, they don't remember. And so, man, that is an extremely valid point. I thank you for sharing that with us, Lou. And so, like, and we can't be offended by that. As the business, provider, we can't be offended by that. We need to embrace that. And a lot of people have like frequently asked questions, or they have like, here, go to this page on our website, but never assume anything. Never assume anything, and your clients will love you that much more for it.
Brides don't want to read about it. The new bride nowadays does not go and do the research. They look on social media for your presence. They don't read your fact page. They just want you to tell them the answer right then. So keep in mind, you have to inform, or you're not going to get that client, because the new bride is very different than before.
Definitely. One thing that I was just going to add was one of my friends is getting married, and his fiance was actually reaching out to me, and she was asking me questions like, "Oh, is it customary to tip?" Or asking me like some of the really like the questions like, "Hey, I don't mean to sound uninformed here, but it's true that you really have to nurture your clients, because they like David and Katie have both said, like, this is the first time they're doing this, and they really don't know, and there's a lot going on getting ready for their big day. I mean, there's so many moving parts, so many things that they have to deal with. Like I really think it's important to just to nurture, like that's the first thing, and really help them make sure they have a good experience. But definitely go in with the mentality that I've learned, at least, is assume they know nothing. That's helped a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and I mean, we talked about collaborating before. We talked about collaborating with other vendors. I mean, here's a great idea. Why not take those frequently asked questions? Why not take those important points that you want to convey to your clients, and get with somebody like Nick in your local market, and just say, hey, could you mind helping me put together this video? We know how big video is right now. Keep it short and sweet. Make it little bits. Make it little, 30-second clips that you can, you could do like a drip email campaign with them. And hey, here's another one, and here's another video, and here's something else, and blah, blah, blah. So, absolutely. Yeah, see, Lou's right on point with that. New brides want videos to see people dancing and see reviews. Plus, they love when another vendor tells them all about you. Yep, you're right on point,
Agreed.
Lou, man. That's man, we might need to get Lou on here with us sometime.
Yes.
Lou is on point. Lou is on point tonight.
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we have reached our hour, and it's important that we want to respect everybody's time. So we thank you guys for watching us tonight. If you do end up watching the replay, if you have questions, please put those in the comments where we're going to post this. We'll make sure that we get this posted so that the replay can be watched. If you have questions or comments, put those on there. We do monitor them after the fact as well. So we want to make sure that we take care of everybody. And we want to thank the DJs Vault group and the DJs Helping DJs group for allowing us to be a part of their groups this evening. We hope you guys got something out of being with us tonight, and we hope to continue to keep doing this and helping everybody out. Last but not least, Katie, I love you to death. Thank you so much for being on here with us. Somebody said add Lou to the group. We might just have to, man. We might just have to add Lou to the group for sure. Absolutely. Nick, love you, brother. Thank you for another great night, man.
I seriously appreciate both of you guys, and thank you guys to everyone that was active in the comments. It's so awesome when we have that engagement and questions, and we can really have that conversation. So I definitely appreciate both of you for being on and for being here. So
Thanks
you guys are
for
awesome.
having me, guys. I loved it.
Yes.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you. Have a good night. We'll see you guys again real soon.